Life on the home front, civilians in the war. Life was tough holding down the fort during the Civil War. With men going off to fight in the wars, it was up to the citizens of the town or country to take over how they were going. Arms, the white rich men to help each other in the daily chores that usually the man at the house would do. Some of these jobs would be gathering firewood, in eggs, milking cows, plowing fields, cleaning timber, and splitting logs for fence posts. During the war, citizens in South did what they had to to protect each other. The enemy usually thought was working out the same as the country didn't follow the gospel. North had a population of 22 million people. It was up to the Union to maintain the peace, while also using soldiers like Indians and bandages. There were still men in the North, but all that changed during the first battle. A lot of Union soldiers were hurt, so the demand for doctors grew. All men in the North were needed. Women had to take over their husbands' jobs while still taking care of their family. Many women went into the manufacturing industry, such as textile companies to make clothes and munition plants to make weapons. Some women worked in hospitals, post offices, and other small businesses. Their pay was too low and not enough to raise a family by themselves, but they didn't care. They just wanted to help the war. They started by doing fundraisers that brought in large sums of money and counted for the war. But in hospitals, it was bad. It was bad. It was bad work. Some were squeamish, which means they couldn't stand the sight of blood. Some women had to see men unclothed to tend to their wounds. But that didn't matter in the war. They just wanted to help. Over 3,000 women became nurses, including Clara Barton, who worked in a hospital that accepted Union and Confederate soldiers. She became famous as a nurse because she didn't care who she was treating. She helped everyone, even Southerners. The Homestead Act the North established gave land to anyone who would farm it and live on it. This gave the North a source of food. The North had everything on the home farm and owned all that for now. The Southern home front. In the South, life was easy. They had no need for industries or factories. They depended on cotton, the main crop of the South. Plus, they only bought what they needed, so everything was going great for the South. But things changed when the war came, mainly because all the battles were fought there. With the population being 9 million, and with 3.5 of that population being slaves, which were all sent to the war, women were needed to take over. But the women were afraid of explosions that had been common in munition plants and the raids the Union unleashed in the South by burning factories, farms, and buildings during the war. The women had a hard time supporting themselves and their families, so some of them went to seek government help. Others begged their husbands to stay home and help, but it didn't work, and with little food and clothing, they had little to improvise. They used old sheets and curtains for clothing. Since they couldn't make coffee, women made tea out of roots, herbs, and bark. When meat was scarce, they ate other things like fish and peanuts. Women also worked in hospitals and took the wounded into their homes, even though they couldn't offer much. During near the end of the war, women couldn't take it anymore. They were hungry, tired, and sick of seeing blood and death. At this point, women were begging the government to surrender so everything would go back to normal, but they refused, so they had to wait until the war was over. The Civil War caused a division between the North and South. Even the women fought. They fought to survive by doing jobs never done by women before. Some became spies, some even fought in the war disguised as men. Even though the war split the country in two, it didn't stop the women of the country from helping keep their divided country together.